Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where we talk about crime dramas that I watch. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Ray Donovan. Quite a few things went down in this episode, so let's break it down bit by bit. First and foremost, obviously, picking up where last week's episode left off, Mac has Bridget, but Ray is freaking out because he doesn't know what's going on. Rad gets contacted because, obviously, Ray and Mickey and Daryl go to Mac's place. And I love that it's okay, Daryl, stay in the back. He's like, no, I'm fine. All right. Luckily, he did, because it was kind of interesting. The moment Rad showed up, the first thing that came to my head was don't do it, Daryl. Because to me, it was you literally you did the Barnes thing before. So it's are they going to literally put you in that situation again? But it's nah, it wasn't him, it was Ray. Which I think it makes more sense for Ray to be the one to put him down and everything like that. But Ray, kept firing just because, obviously, he's the one that set all this in motion. He even calls Ferrati later on. It's actually kind of interesting. I guess it's this was all Rad's idea. That was kind of took me by surprise, because so Ferrati knows nothing about this, because the moment Ray called him, I was please give me my daughter back, I'll fix this. It's just that's sad that even in this moment, Ray's trying to do whatever he can to get his daughter back, to the point it's I will fix this for you. It's the shitstorm that he's on right now. He probably doesn't know. He's just trying to give himself enough time, because it's it played on TV and it's she's dead. Now that could be interpreted two different ways. The fact of the matter, in the context, it's just kind of mainly oh no, this is all, Bridget is dead because that, it's going public now. But you could also be she's dead as in Sam's dead because of this, because she set this all in motion. She didn't give me the time to save my daughter first, and then she could have just published this afterward. Rather than giving me the chance, she took that from me. So once again, I am curious what this means, where Sam and Ray are going to stand after this, when it's all said and done at the end of the episode. But I'll kind of talk about that in a little bit. But Ferrati had no idea that Bridget was even kidnapped, because I guess because everything was moving so fast. First, Rad going after Emerson, and then finding out about Ray, and then Ray escaping. Because if all that had been, because talking about taking Ray's daughter, I guess it's plausible deniability, but it's also meaning that they'd have to bring up the fact is, yeah, we had Ray, but he got away, and we found, that would have all taken that turn, which actually begs the question. Well, I'm assuming he knows, but does that mean, did he even know that Ray was the rat at that time, or did they keep that info? The whole kidnapping Bridget might have just been something they did on their own, sure, but the whole informing him, he probably knows that Ray was the one that was the rat in the whole situation, or the recording before it went out. He probably knew about him working with Emerson and that whole situation. But it's that thing of who knew what and when, type of thing. So, but in the long run, he didn't know about Bridget, so that was interesting. But I guess because it was kind of like I said, things were moving too fast, and trying to make sure, because they probably didn't want to admit any failures, because if things didn't work out the way they wanted it to, then so. But that was kind of interesting. And it was kind of interesting too with the whole Mac thing of how, because I brought that up last episode about okay, so what is Mac going to do? Is he going to try to do the right thing or not? Because I was thinking there's part of me that was worried that he might actually take her to Ferrati, but he didn't. He was looking after, he was even trying to explain Ray, the fact of the matter is, hey, I remember I did this. I didn't want any part of this. He's no, I understand Mac. But he's just trying to make him understand. He's because Ray's even trying to be if I was in your shoes, I would have done the exact same thing. He's no, you wouldn't have. The fact of the matter is, Mac, it's I've always kind of felt like a loser. People never took me seriously. In retrospect, that kind of fits his personality, because the whole him fighting Amber's new boyfriend, the whole firefighter situation, he's a very powerful person. He always felt like he had to prove himself. But he's you always took me seriously. You never treated me like I was just nothing. You were actually my friend. And he's that's why I did this. I did this for you and for her. And it's it's kind of sad that things played out the way they did. Because there was a part of me that was actually scared. I was the moment Ray finds out, will he actually kill Mac? I don't know if he would have. Even when it was all said, sadly Mac ended up killing himself just because he felt like a failure. He had just, because if he's removed from the picture, no matter what ends up happening afterwards, Ferrati would have no reason to go after Amber and his son, just because it's like, I'm not around for me to be an issue anymore. But also, I guess it's just he couldn't live with all the stuff that he did, all the mistakes he had made. He just compounded upon each other, and just he couldn't take it, which is kind of a shame. But like what I was saying is, I don't think Ray would have ever killed him, because like he was Ray's friend. The fact of the matter is, he was there when Ray was at one of his lowest moments after the whole trying to kill himself situation. So the whole Abby thing. So I think, I don't know. And it's actually kind of crazy that even after all of this, Bridget, her first words out of her mouth afterwards were like, "Why did you jump?" And Ray couldn't bring himself to answer, like, because I don't think it was just one single thing. The majority of it was Abby, but I think it was just a lot. It's just kind of that moment of just like, I want to be with you. The fact of the matter is, Abby probably made him complete. She probably he was very broken, but she held him together. And just after her dying, he shattered, And he's been slowly he tried to piece himself back together, but it's like with where the conditions he's in right now, he can't piece himself back together how much he wants to try. Because every time there's something new every season that kind of breaks him a little bit more. But like the Abby situation broke him like he's never been broken before, because he was already kind of like in a fragile state, the PTSD situation that people constantly keep bringing up about that, but it's like, she's scared. Bridget's scared. Like, I'm worried you're going to end up just like your friend. I'm going to get a call one day that you ended up ending it like that, just because you've already tried to do that and I didn't even know, And she wants him to get help, because he's apologetic, because he blames himself, because he's like, this is all my fault. She's like, Dad, it's okay. Just get help. That's all I want. It's like, because she wanted to get as far away from Ray before, but I think now she's legitimately scared that if she gets away, if she has any life of her own, she won't be around, and maybe she won't be there to help keep him pieced together before he shatters and ends up trying again or something like that, So I am curious to see what Ray is going to do, just because it just seemed like he is like legitimately mentally unstable. Like, you see it every time, like his eyes are kind of twitching. Like, I think there's something in his head like that might it might not just be like a psychological thing. It might be that a big part, but it feels like it might actually be something like mentally wrong, in the sense of like, well, not just mentally, but like maybe he has like a tumor or something in his head. I have no idea. But it seems like it is probably more likely something just mental and psychological. But like I said, maybe something more to it. But quite a few things to also add in about this episode. There's the whole, I always talk about it like it's always so sweet and endearing, and it kind of catches me off guard when Mickey is a family man. He does love his family. He's shown it, but it's like when you see him get all fatherly and stuff, like when Daryl was blinking, he's like, oh, you make sure you don't have a concussion. Follow my fingers. No, don't turn your head. Follow my fingers with your eyes. Stop turning your head. He's like, I'm fine, Dad. Pops, not Pops. I'm fine. He's like, make sure you put some ice on it. It's like, oh, and he's like, I should have gone with Ray. The fact of the matter is, Ray hasn't called. I know him better than he knows himself. And it's like, dude, it's like, because it's not just about Ray too, it's also about your granddaughter's life at stake. But here it's just kind of like, him being the family man that he has shown himself to be from time to time in the past as well. But it just still kind of catches you off guard, me at the very least. I forget, like, yeah, Mickey has his moments of being, I guess it's his way of kind of compensating for kind of all the years of being a shitty dad, so, but still. I also love it too, just because it's kind of like they end up coming back upon the first cop they shot, and it's like, oh yeah, that dirty cop dude is still alive. Oh wow, look how far he got. And Mickey's almost impressed and everything. And then they're singing "Never Gonna Give You Up," him and Daryl, while they got the two bodies in the back. It's like, yeah, this isn't weird and messed up. Then there's also Sandy and Smitty talking, and it's like, wait, Ray tried to poison you? It's like, yeah, when he was trying to say Abby's life, that sounds like Ray. He was a strange kid. And Smitty's like, yeah, I guess he kind of is. He used to be, he gets so mad, he'd hold his breath until he passed out or smashed his head against stuff. It's like you're either, what was it she said exactly? It's like, you're either destined for greatness or madness, and it's just kind of like, that's the Donovans for you, which that's a big part of this too, because you get into the whole Bunchy thing, which I'll kind of like not necessarily sidebar, but talk about the whole like Donovan curse and everything like that. But it's like, it's kind of interesting because I feel like this episode was another step forward for Smitty being part of the Donovans too. Because I also love Sandy being like, "Oh, so you're going to take Bridget's? So is Bridget going to take your last name?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know. We haven't talked about it." Sandy's like, "Yeah, because Smith's kind of boring as hell." And he's like, "Yeah, I know." And also, he helped out with the Danny thing. He ended up stabbing Danny, and he's like, "I'm so sorry." And he's freaking out, like, "What should we do with the body?" He's like, I don't know. You want to drink?" And she's like, and he's like, I don't want to fucking drink. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking drink." And then Mickey comes in with another body, and it's like, "Oh wow, what happened here? Oh wow, since you're so acquainted with bodies, go help Daryl get the other body." He's like, "Wow, okay." And it's like, yeah, really bringing you into the Donovans this season, like, him and Ray jumping those people who beat him up and smashed his place that he owed money to, plus this. It's like you really stepped into being a Donovan. But which is interesting considering the fact is there is that whole thing, like Bunchy said, like they are cursed. It's like because for Bunchy, it's like, do any of us have, well, at least to kids, like, did Maria ever have a chance of having a normal life with me as a dad? Look at Bridget and Connor. They will never be normal. Look at our lives. The Donovans were cursed. It's just kind of like, it almost does. It's like misfortune just has a tendency to follow their family. It's like, well, their mom, their sister Bridget, Abby, now this. It's just one thing after another with the Donovans, and it's just kind of like, yeah, Bunchy just kind of has given up. He even has that officer, that FBI agent. She's trying to get him to talk, but he won't. Because legitimately he doesn't know where Mickey is anyway. But for him, it's like, I can't do it. Like, I'm not going to turn Dad in. Like, can you imagine? Dad had to go away already for those 20 years for something he didn't do, to send him away again for something he didn't do. But Terry brings it up once again. It's like, I don't care. He was a shitty dad. He was a monster. So let him rot just for even that, But Bunchy's just kind of giving up because I feel like for him, he just feels like, what else is there to do? Like, I did all this stuff. Let me suffer the ramifications for it, because it's like that Maria would just be better off without him in her life. Like, no matter how complicated his relationship is with Teresa, at the very least, it's like, hey, my daughter will be better off not knowing me, kind of being associated with her family. Might not have a choice in the matter. The fact of the matter is, she's a Donovan in blood, so that's going to follow her anyway. It's also, I'm kind of curious, like, are they really just going to play this out like that? Because obviously there's a whole Terry situation, or Terry's going to be like, oh no, I'm going to turn my dad in to make sure that Bunchy can get a deal. But it's also, it's all so based on if Bunchy will testify against him. But it's like, Bunchy's not going to do that. Like, he feels sympathy for your dad, so he's not going to go through that. But Terry is just going to, I'm sure Terry's going to try and convince their dad, or maybe he's even going to force him if it means getting Bunchy out. Because it's like, Bunchy can't serve, 30 years with no chance of parole. But there was another part of me that's wondering, is Ray going to be the one that kind of saved the day in this regard? Because let's not forget, there's still the whole Ferrati thing. Like, he could potentially use that situation as ammunition to potentially help with his brother's situation. I have no idea. I don't know. Because it's interesting because, like, Ferrati and the judge have both now put a target on Sam's back. They might even go to Ray for help with this. I'm curious to see what ends up happening, because I have no idea. Because Ray's not really probably going to be in a position where he cares too much about helping Sam. I don't know. Maybe he will, just because it's like he might even help Ferrati in this regard. Because Ferrati had nothing to do with his daughter getting kidnapped, and her potentially almost dying was because of Sam. So it's kind of like, I don't know. Because it's interesting, too, because Ferrati was convincing the mayor. It's like, what? Sam's got plenty of Hollywood actors under her belt and stuff like that. Could have easily faked that. It's like, right, trying to keep you, the judge, on your side, even though he heard a recording of you putting a hit on him. So that was interesting. But I'm so curious to see how that all ends up playing out in that regard. How they plan of disposing the three bodies. It's interesting because that's all going down while Terry's like, oh, I'm gonna track Mickey down, turn him in for this. Even though he's not responsible for the barn situation, he did help kill one of these dirty cops. So it's kind of like, so I'm very interested to see what happened there. I'm legitimately also curious, like, where Ray went. Like, is he going to actually go and get help and talk with that doctor he met a few episodes ago, or what? What about Sam? Where is this all going to play out? What about Anita? I don't think things are going to be all nice and clean when this is all said and done. Like, things are going to be nicely wrapped up, but I feel like things might get bloody next episode because you got two Titans, Ferrati and Sam, potentially going to war, and like I said, what the aftermath of that will be, I have no idea. What Bunchy's going to do, what Terry's going to do. Also, what's Bridget going to do when this is all said and done? Will she move away with Smitty or not? And that's all content, I guess, all on how Ray handles things going forward. Next week's episode is the season finale, so it's going to be a crazy finale, I'm sure, but I'm so interested to find out how the season gets wrapped up. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, love life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.